Castlevania for the NES was released on September 26, 1986. It was met with amazing sales and is still to this day a beloved classic. But the question is, does it still hold up today? You play through the character as Simon Belmont. It is your job to travel through Dracula's castle and kill all of the monsters lurking there, and ultimately killing Dracula himself. Upon starting the game, you'll see a cutscene where Simon Belmont walks through Dracula's castle through a gate. Simon attacks using his whip, and along with that, Simon can hold one sub-weapon. To use these sub-weapons, you use the little hearts you find within candles or killing enemies. However, with Simon's attacks, his whip does have a slight delay whenever you press the button, adding a whole nother level of strategy for whenever you attack. On top of this, when you get hit by an enemy, Simon has this crazy knockback, and if you get hit near a hole, you'll get knocked right in. This game can get really frustrating at times, especially since you can't save the game, and it doesn't even have one of those really over drawn out password systems that they have in other NES games. They saved those for the sequels. So, you either play on the emulator, which I'm certain you already are, and use save states, or you beat it all in one sitting. Now, the dirty pirate that I am, emulated this game. Why, may you ask? Because there's no way in heck that I'm beating this game all in one sitting. I have things to do, dang it. Plus, when playing this game, I must have died countless times. I can only imagine a newcomer to NES games trying this one out. Now, there are 6 bosses in Castlevania. The first one is this bat that is, for whatever reason, more powerful than the other bats that you see in this game. It's pretty easy to beat. You just use your whip when he gets close to you, and use your axe when he gets further away. The next boss is Medusa, which is just as pathetic as the last boss. You just throw holy water on her, which you get right before the fight. And for some reason, she just freezes there while you're throwing the holy water on her, while you kill her. After the fight with Medusa, you fight these 2 mummies. They're pretty easy too, you just whip them and they're dead. But I never knew why there were 2 of them. Is there some story about 2 mummies that I'm missing? Like, why not just make 1 mummy with double the health? Whatever, on to the next boss. Next boss you fight is Frankenstein's monster and his little buddy. What the heck is with all these strange, random monsters that show up for no reason whatsoever? I mean, there's no story behind Frankenstein and his little buddy. At least I don't think there is. But none of this really matters, because this boss fight is actually a bit of a challenge for once. And what I mean by that is, you just whip him to death and he takes a little bit more extra damage because he's got his little buddy with him. The 5th boss is Death, and what a fitting name that is. Just getting to the boss is a tackle, with Medusa heads flying at you and knight armors throwing axes at you. The fight with Death consists of him teleporting around while throwing sickles at you. And on top of this, his attacks deal a total of 4 damage. The best strategy to beat Death is to dodge his attacks and whip him whenever you have the chance. And finally, after the fight with Death, you fight Dracula himself. And I'm not even gonna question why Dracula looks like a goblin. His attack's mainly based around him teleporting around while throwing fireballs at you. The only way you can damage Dracula is if you attack his head. After dealing enough damage to Dracula, his head pops off and then you go on to the next stage of his fight. The second stage of Dracula's fight, he turns into a giant hairy bat for some reason, and his attacks mainly just consist of him jumping around shooting fireballs. All you need to do is just use your whip and dodge his attacks during this stage. Once you beat him and grab the final red orb, you are greeted to a cutscene showing the castle crumbling. Castlevania was a huge hit when it released, and people still to this day love it. I personally love this game. It's one of my favorite NES games of all time. But I don't think I'll be playing this game from start to finish for a while. Back when it was released, Castlevania was the first real horror game, but not horror in the sense when it was trying to scare you, but horror in the way that it is set as an atmosphere. The game really has you feel like that you are Simon Belmont traveling through Dracula's castle, killing monsters. But today we have far superior technology that can simulate pretty much anything. The one thing I can think of that will turn people away from playing this game for the first time is the difficulty, and that is a huge factor. This game is one of, if not the hardest game I've ever played. But it didn't really matter because of how much fun I was having while playing the game. Now, throughout the years, the Castlevania series has changed, and it is debatable whether or not the newer Castlevania games can be even called Castlevania. But there's something great about going back to the first game in the series before all the changes were made, and just seeing how this all started. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.